Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went in there? Or spent time looking everywhere for your glasses, only to realize they've been sitting on your nose the whole time? Seems like no big deal, right? But what if these little things are actually the first warning signs you shouldn't ignore? A lot of folks think being forgetful is just a normal part of getting older. But sometimes, there's something more serious behind it, changes happening deep inside your brain. Dementia tends to sneak up quietly, often disguised as ordinary signs of aging. And if you don't catch these early signals in time, you might miss out on precious opportunities to slow things down. In this video, I'll talk about the signs you shouldn't brush off, and I'll tell you exactly what steps you can take. Knowing these symptoms can help you live an active and healthy life much longer. Because the earlier you spot a problem, the better your chances are of slowing it down and keeping your mind sharp. Be sure to watch this video all the way through. There's lots of valuable information ahead. We'll cover the first signs of dementia, explain how to spot them early, and tell you exactly what to do next. If staying sharp and clear-headed for years to come matters to you, hit that like button, and let's get started. Have you ever noticed how, as you get older, it gets harder to remember new names? Or maybe you found yourself rereading the same page of a book over and over because the meaning just slips away. Those are normal, age-related changes. They can be annoying, but they don't stop you from living your life. But there are other changes that can really disrupt your daily routine, turning simple things into major challenges. Dementia isn't just simple forgetfulness. It's a disease that gradually eats away at memory, thinking skills, understanding, and even habits. It interferes with your ability to navigate familiar places, do everyday tasks, or even recognize loved ones. Unlike normal age-related memory issues, cognitive changes from dementia don't improve over time. Instead, they steadily get worse. Having temporary memory lapses, like forgetting the title of a movie only to remember it later, is perfectly normal. But if someone starts losing track of streets they've walked their whole life, or forgets how to use a spoon, these are serious warning signs. Cognitive decline linked to dementia doesn't just impact memory, it affects speech, attention, logic, and even coordination. These changes aren't just part of getting older. There's something we need to actively address. Now that we understand what dementia actually is, let's talk about how common this issue really is and why it should matter to everyone. Have you ever noticed someone starting to ask the same question again and again, almost as if they never heard your answer? Or suddenly forgetting something they said just a minute ago? At first, it seems like harmless absent-mindedness, but when this starts happening regularly, it's definitely something to pay attention to. Memory issues in dementia aren't like normal forgetfulness. Sure, we all misplace our keys sometimes, but eventually we find them by retracing our steps. Someone with dementia, though, might not just lose their keys, they might forget that keys even have a purpose. Another major red flag is losing short-term memory. Someone might vividly recall details from their youth but struggle to remember what they had for breakfast this morning. They might completely forget a conversation they just had and repeat the same question, totally unaware they've already received an answer. This isn't ordinary forgetfulness. It's a symptom of a brain that's struggling to function properly. Over time, these memory gaps deepen, causing a person to gradually lose touch with reality. It's so important to recognize these signs early, because the sooner you act, the better your chances of slowing the progression. But memory loss is just one signal. Next, we'll dive into another key warning sign, changes in speech patterns, that might indicate the onset of dementia. Have you ever had one of those moments when a word feels like it's right on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't grab it? Happens to everyone, right? But if someone starts consistently replacing simple words with odd descriptions, that's something you shouldn't ignore. For example, instead of saying kettle, they might call it that thing that boils water, or instead of saying bus, they say that big vehicle for people. These substitutions might seem harmless, but they can be early warning signs. Gradually, speech becomes less fluent. A person might struggle to find words, pause more often, or even freeze mid-sentence. Conversations become challenging because they're avoiding complex phrases or long sentences. They may also forget familiar names of objects, people, or places, even ones they've known all their life. One concerning sign is a sudden silence during a conversation, as if they're stuck and just can't find the right words. Or maybe they're talking, but their sentences become fragmented, trailing off without clear endings, or filled with unnecessary words and phrases. These changes aren't just normal aging, They're among the earliest signs of dementia, appearing long before severe memory loss sets in. The sooner you notice these signs, the better your chances of slowing down the progression of the disease. But speech difficulties aren't the only warning signs to look out for. Another important symptom is losing interest in favorite activities, and that's what we'll discuss next. Have you noticed someone who once loved gardening, reading, or meeting friends suddenly becoming indifferent? Maybe they say they're just not in the mood, or that it's no longer interesting. A shift like that isn't necessarily just age-related fatigue. It can also be a serious red flag. As dementia develops, the brain struggles to process information as actively as it used to. Routine tasks become challenging, and familiar activities that used to bring joy start feeling exhausting or overwhelming. Even social interactions, once enjoyable, may become irritating or frustrating. If someone who once loved crossword puzzles now finds them confusing or claims knitting or painting is suddenly too difficult because their hands won't cooperate, that's a cause for concern. Gradually, everything that used to bring pleasure takes a back seat, leaving them sitting quietly for hours, disengaged and passive. The real danger is mistaking this for ordinary depression or temporary fatigue. But when someone loses interest in life, in learning, and in social connections, it's a clear warning sign. It's also important to mention that emotional changes like depression can mimic or accompany cognitive decline. Dementia and depression frequently coexist, so if you notice sudden passivity or withdrawal, it's wise to check in on emotional health as well. Next, we'll talk about another concerning sign, when everyday tasks suddenly become surprisingly difficult. If someone suddenly struggles with everyday tasks they've done their whole life, you can't just blame it on getting older. Maybe today they forget how to make their favorite meal, tomorrow they're confused about paying utility bills, and next week they can't handle a simple trip to the grocery store. At first, it seems random. They mix up ingredients, misplace their bank card, or feel overwhelmed filling out routine paperwork. But over time, these small issues start piling up. They become less confident, avoid complicated tasks, and start postponing even basic chores. It's especially concerning when they have trouble following instructions. Maybe assembling furniture used to be second nature, but now they're staring at the instructions feeling completely lost. Or they suddenly can't operate devices they've used effortlessly for years. These changes often come with increased irritability. People can get frustrated when they can't figure things out but struggle to express why. They might start avoiding tasks they once performed without thinking because deep down, they sense something isn't right. All these signs point to a brain that's having trouble processing information, organizing tasks, and staying focused. If these struggles are happening more frequently, it's vital not to dismiss them. But memory and logic aren't the only things that can start to falter. Sometimes, your body sends you important signals too, like unexpected falls or trouble with coordination. That's what we'll discuss next. Have you ever noticed someone suddenly tripping more often, losing their balance, or stumbling without any clear reason? If they once walked confidently but now move cautiously, afraid they'll fall, it might signal more than just aging. It could point to a neurological issue. When dementia develops, it's not just memory that's affected, the nervous system itself starts having trouble. The brain struggles to coordinate movement, balance deteriorates, and the person moves differently than before. They might suddenly fall for no apparent reason, as if their legs just won't cooperate. Initially, it seems accidental. They slipped, tripped over a rug, or didn't see a step. But if these incidents become frequent, it's time to pay close attention. Especially if their walking pattern changes, they start shuffling, moving slowly or unevenly, taking smaller steps as though they're constantly worried about losing their balance. Another common symptom is hesitation before moving. They might pause at the stairs, unsure about taking the first step, or they freeze in front of a door, as if they've forgotten how to open it. This indicates the brain is struggling to send clear signals, signals that used to be automatic. You shouldn't ignore these changes. They can appear long before significant memory issues and are often early indicators of neurological problems. Next, we'll talk about another important warning sign, losing orientation in familiar places. Imagine someone heading out to a store they visited for years, but suddenly stopping because they can't remember which way to go. Or they're walking along a familiar route, but unexpectedly lose their bearings, get confused at turns, or can't recall where they are. At first, this might seem like ordinary absent-mindedness. They might shrug it off as being tired, distracted, or even joke about just getting old. But when these situations start happening regularly, it's not just forgetfulness anymore. It's a real warning sign that something isn't right in the brain. When spatial orientation is affected, people can become lost even in familiar surroundings, like the neighborhood they've lived in their whole lives or a grocery store they visit weekly. They might suddenly forget how to get back home, even if they're only a couple blocks away. Initially, they'll hesitate more, pause to look around, and feel uncertain about directions. Eventually, they might avoid going out alone, afraid they'll lose their way without someone there to guide them. Even something as simple as riding the bus can become stressful. They might forget where to get off or fail to recognize their stop. These symptoms often creep up subtly, and the person experiencing them might not realize there's a problem at first. But if you notice someone regularly getting disoriented in familiar places, it's crucial to start paying closer attention to their cognitive health. And that's not the only surprising sign of dementia. Sometimes, a person might start experiencing strange phantom sensations, sounds, touches, or smells that aren't actually there. We'll explore these unusual brain signals next. Imagine someone suddenly jumping and claiming someone touched them, even though no one is nearby. Or they start mentioning strange noises, like ringing in the ears, distant voices, or rustling sounds that no one else hears. These aren't just tricks of the imagination. They could actually be early warnings of something deeper going wrong in the brain. These phantom sensations are false signals that the brain mistakenly perceives as real. Someone might feel touches that didn't happen, experience sudden unexplained warmth or cold, or complain that clothing feels tight even when it's loose. They might even think objects around them are moving or changing, even though nothing is shifted. Auditory hallucinations are another sign of cognitive problems. A person might hear soft music, a low hum, distant voices, or even someone calling their name when no one's speaking. These sounds can be alarming, and the individual might genuinely believe they're real, but that everyone else just doesn't notice them. Changes in smell can also signal problems. Familiar foods suddenly smell strange or unpleasant, or someone starts detecting odors that no one else can perceive. These sensory distortions might indicate early disruptions in brain function. These experiences are frightening, causing anxiety and leading people to become more withdrawn. They're often afraid no one will believe them, or they themselves might feel confused about what's happening. It's important not to dismiss these experiences. Recognizing them early can make a huge difference. But phantom sensations aren't the only physical signs of dementia. Sleep disturbances, chronic fatigue, and unexplained pains can also signal early brain changes. Let's dive into those next. Have you noticed someone suddenly waking up in the middle of the night and struggling to fall back asleep? Or maybe they complain about feeling oddly tired, even though they haven't exerted themselves? Sleep disturbances and sudden physical sensations can be early signs of cognitive decline. Sleep issues can be an early warning sign. A person might toss and turn all night, wake up frequently for no apparent reason, or rise too early feeling completely drained. Sometimes, their entire sleep cycle flips, drowsiness during the day paired with restlessness at night. Another red flag is unexplained fatigue. Someone might claim they have no energy, even after minimal exertion. Everyday activities become exhausting, recovery takes longer, and the person gradually withdraws from tasks they once enjoyed. Over time, mysterious pains and discomfort may appear, like numbness in the hands or feet, a head that feels unusually heavy, or strange tingling sensations. They might describe their posture as uncomfortable, feeling as if their back just isn't right. These symptoms occur because the brain starts losing its grip on nerve signals. When the brain struggles, the body follows, leading to weakness, discomfort, and a loss of confidence in physical movements. Over time, these issues become increasingly noticeable. It's crucial to understand that sleep, physical well-being, and cognitive health are closely connected. When the brain begins to decline, the body often sends clear signals. If these signs become regular, it's time to pay closer attention to overall health. But is it possible to prevent or slow down cognitive decline? How can you support brain health and keep dementia at bay? Next, we'll explore some simple yet powerful ways to protect your brain. Is it realistic to maintain mental clarity into old age? Absolutely, if you give your brain the right kind of care. What we eat and how we move directly impacts cognitive function, and even simple lifestyle habits can deliver remarkable results. One of the best ways to keep your brain healthy is through proper nutrition. Studies consistently show that a Mediterranean diet significantly lowers dementia risk. This diet is rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, fish, and olive oil, all packed with healthy fats and antioxidants that protect your brain cells from damage. On the other hand, it's crucial to limit sugar and processed foods. Things like sweets, white bread, and soda overload your body and fuel inflammation in the brain. Instead, swap them out for berries, nuts, leafy greens, and legumes. These foods boost memory and concentration. But nutrition is just one piece of the puzzle. Staying physically active is equally essential. Regular exercise boosts blood flow to the brain, delivers oxygen to your cells, and slows the aging process. Just a daily walk in fresh air is already a huge step toward active longevity. Half an hour of walking every day can significantly reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Yoga, swimming, or even simple stretching exercises help maintain flexibility and coordination, strengthening the connection between your mind and body. The key here is consistency. Small but regular improvements in diet and lifestyle can help you stay active and mentally sharp for years to come. But physical fitness isn't the whole story. Your brain needs daily workouts too. Up next, we'll talk about how to give your mind the daily exercise it needs to stay sharp. Our brain is a lot like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens over time. That's why it's so important to give your brain daily exercise to keep neurons active and slow down age-related decline. And the good news is that training your brain can actually be easy and enjoyable. One of the simplest ways is reading. When you read, your brain actively processes information, connects facts, and creates mental images. This boosts memory, sharpens concentration, and can even help slow brain aging. You don't even have to stick to one kind of reading. Books, magazines, articles, even new recipes work. What's important is continually giving your brain fresh material. Solving puzzles is another powerful way to stay sharp. Crosswords, Sudoku, logic problems, they all stimulate your brain, improving memory and speeding up your thinking. Even something simple, like playing word games or spotting differences in pictures, can have a noticeable impact. But the absolute best way to preserve cognitive health is learning new skills. When you learn a language, pick up a musical instrument, or start using a new technology, your brain literally builds fresh neural pathways. It's like giving your brain a rejuvenating boost, helping you stay sharp much longer. The key is consistency. Even small, daily efforts can have big benefits. New information acts like fuel for your brain, and regular mental activity keeps it strong and healthy. But even if your brain feels fine, it's still important to get regular checkups. Routine medical exams can catch issues early and help you take action before they become serious. We'll talk about why that's so important next. So, how can you know if your brain is truly healthy? Feeling tired, forgetful, or having trouble concentrating might seem like ordinary signs of aging, but sometimes they're actually the first signals of cognitive decline. That's why regular medical checkups are essential in spotting dementia early. In the early stages, dementia can go unnoticed. Life feels normal, but subtle changes are already happening inside your brain. At this point, getting evaluated by a professional can make a huge difference. Checking memory, thinking skills, and other cognitive abilities early gives you a much better chance of slowing down the decline. Doctors use simple yet effective tests to assess memory, problem-solving abilities, and reasoning skills. Quick questions and basic tasks can reveal mild cognitive issues, ones that haven't yet impacted daily life but deserve attention. Medical checkups can also help identify other potential causes of cognitive symptoms, things like vitamin deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, or circulation problems in the brain. Many of these issues mimic dementia but can often be corrected or improved significantly if caught early. Regular checkups are especially crucial if there's a family history of dementia or if you start noticing concerning changes yourself. Seeing a neurologist or scheduling a cognitive screening is quick and easy, and it might just help you preserve years of active living. But brain health isn't only about seeing doctors. Your environment, emotions, and especially your social connections play a huge role too. Next, we'll explore why staying socially active and engaged with others is so important for maintaining a sharp mind. How often do you talk with friends, neighbors, or acquaintances? It turns out that staying socially active is one of the most powerful ways to keep your brain young. When you're regularly interacting with others, your brain stays busy forming new connections, which supports memory and cognitive function. Loneliness is a serious enemy. Not only does it drag down your mood, but it also weakens memory, reduces concentration, and accelerates cognitive decline. If someone withdraws socially, loses interest in conversation, or avoids interacting with others, it can actually speed up degenerative processes in the brain. To maintain mental clarity, staying socially engaged is essential. Simple conversations, meeting up with friends, or even discussing the latest news stimulates your mind, keeping your brain active. Even brief daily chats can make a meaningful difference in your cognitive health. Another great way to stimulate your mind is participating actively in community life. Joining clubs, volunteering, or meeting people who share your interests exposes your brain to fresh information and emotions, helping it stay sharp. Also, never hesitate to reach out for support. If you're feeling isolated, talk with family, reconnect with old friends, or even meet new people. Today, you can do this both in person and online, by joining groups or learning new technology alongside others. Socializing isn't just about having fun. It's one of your strongest defenses against dementia and cognitive decline. But what if you've already started noticing some troubling symptoms? It's critical to know what steps you should take right away, and that's what we'll cover next. So, what should you do if you or a loved one starts experiencing memory gaps, trouble focusing, or speech difficulties? Most importantly, don't dismiss it as just part of getting older. The sooner you act, the better your chances of preserving your quality of life and mental clarity. First, schedule an appointment with your doctor. Don't wait until symptoms get worse. A neurologist or geriatric specialist can evaluate cognitive abilities, run appropriate tests, and recommend treatment or lifestyle changes. Often, memory issues aren't even dementia. They might result from vitamin deficiencies, stress, or thyroid problems, which can often be corrected. Next, take a close look at lifestyle habits. If your brain is slowing down, it needs extra support through proper nutrition, regular exercise, and dropping unhealthy habits. Staying physically active boosts circulation, bringing essential nutrients and oxygen to your brain. It's also essential to actively exercise your memory. Try learning poems, writing down important events, keeping a diary, or making to-do lists. These simple habits keep your brain sharp and help compensate for any difficulties you might encounter. Social interactions are another crucial component. Conversations, discussing the news, or participating in community events keep your mind engaged. Isolation accelerates cognitive decline, so staying socially connected really matters. If you're struggling with orientation or daily tasks, simplify your routine. Use reminders, leave yourself notes, or set alarms to prompt important activities. These little tricks help preserve independence. Above all, don't panic or give up hope. Modern research shows that even when the first symptoms appear, cognitive functions can still be supported or even improved if you take action promptly. Now that we've covered the key aspects of spotting dementia early and preventing cognitive decline, let's quickly recap why it's so crucial to act sooner rather than later. Dementia develops gradually, and its early signs often go unnoticed. Those first subtle signs, forgetfulness, speech difficulties, or trouble concentrating, can easily be overlooked or mistaken for normal aging. But staying proactive, by keeping your mind active, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and getting timely medical checkups can significantly slow cognitive decline. The most important thing is not to ignore these warning signs. The earlier you act, the better your chances of preserving your mental clarity. You can train your brain at any age. Adding more movement, socializing regularly, and learning new things helps your brain stay sharp longer. Even small steps can have a powerful effect over time. How often do you stay active, socialize, or challenge yourself with something new? I'd love to hear about your experiences. How do you keep your brain sharp? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience could inspire others. If this video was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe. Right now, another helpful video is appearing on your screen. It'll give you even more valuable tips to strengthen your health and improve your quality of life. Take care of yourself, stay active, and keep enjoying life. I'll see you in the next video.